So here are my quick thoughts on the concealed carry case that was argued before the Supreme Court today. So I fall in the camp of those who believe that this case need not be remanded to determine what level of scrutiny will apply. Now I know we were all frustrated after Heller that the court didn't set a level of scrutiny, but here's why they didn't. So in Heller, the question presented was whether the Second Amendment provides for an individual right to self-defense inside the home. Now, since the court found that that was a core civil right, the prohibition failed as a matter of law, and there was no level of scrutiny that needed to be applied to that case. I think we have the same situation here, and let me tell you why. As Ginsburg said herself in her dissenting opinion in Heller, if you find that possession of a firearm inside the home is a core civil right, you must likewise find that there's a core civil right to possess a firearm outside the home for self-defense. I agree with Ginsburg in her dissent. That's true. Therefore, the question presented to this court, though the court was a little coy with how they reframed the question, the basic question being presented and what I saw being argued today was whether or not that core civil right outside of the home could be subject to some level of scrutiny. But here's the catch. These justified need laws require a citizen to show that they have a need that is higher than or something different than the need of the average citizen. A core civil right applies to the average citizen. A core civil right can't possibly only apply to those that are in direct imminent harm or can prove imminent danger to themselves if they're not granted a permit. So I just don't see under Heller or any other recent decisions by this court or recent courts how they could find that they need to really go through a scrutiny analysis to determine what level of scrutiny applies to a law that de facto disbars the average citizen from possessing a firearm outside the home for self-defense. So logically, I think that's where the case falls. But as many of you may already know, the court sometimes finds a way to, narrowly decide a case and on the facts presented in that case and not answer the larger question. In this case, it could just be, was it arbitrary in application of this particular applicant in this particular case? And there's games that can play. Let's just hope they don't do that. But, I'm encouraged by the arguments. And I think if you follow the logic in Heller and you follow the logic in even Ginsburg's dissent, you have to find it's an individual right, that it's a core civil right that applies outside of the home. And therefore, since it's a core right, requiring people to show they have a justifiable need that's something different than the average citizen must necessarily fail. Now, there will be challenges. This doesn't necessarily mean we'll have concealed carry in New Jersey next week. New Jersey is going to pass laws that are going to require certain other, training requirements or this or that, things that, the average citizen can meet. And then the court has to decide, well, can you require training requirements? Is the permit scheme allowable? Is having to get a permit disenfranchise people? I mean, people are out there making the argument that getting a voter ID disenfranchises people from voting. So if you apply that same logic to getting a concealed carry permit, you could say it disenfranchises people from getting carry permits. So the same argument against voter ID could be used to eliminate permit requirements for concealed carry. And that's basically the premise under constitutional carry in many states. So we'll see where that goes. But for now, hold tight. We'll see where the court comes. It's going to be several months before we get a decision. Hopefully we'll have some updates soon, but from now, no matter what any expert tells you out there, it's pure conjecture where this court is going to go and whether they're going to answer the question directly or whether they're going to find some narrowly tailored solution to resolve this case without answering the bigger question. So for now, this is Matthew, the Average Gun Owner.